Hey guys, welcome back here to The Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys coming by the channel. And guys, today I want to talk about how fishing pressure is causing bass to move into different locations that they've never been in before. This is something that I have noticed in my fishing, specifically over about the past 5 years. It's an adaptation that the fish are adjusting to simply because of more people fishing and more activity and noise on the lake. And I want to talk to you guys in today's video. This is going to be a really good video about how the places that bass are using now that they haven't used in the past. So we're going to get into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that has taken time to subscribe here to The Fishing Teacher, man. Appreciate it. Right now, we've only got about 35% of the people that watch The Fishing Teacher are subscribed. So thank you, everybody that's hit that subscribe button. And also, guys, we do have channel memberships here to The Fishing Teacher. If you'd like to be part of our Patreon program, or our channel memberships, that's a good way to really support the channel and give back if you like the tips here. So all that stuff will be in the links to my description in the video here. I really appreciate that. Okay, this is one of my, I don't want to say it's my favorite topic in fishing, but it's one that I'm pretty passionate about and adamant about, because a lot of you guys that have watched me on the other channels, you hear me talk about the increased amount of fishing pressure on our lakes across the country and what it's doing to the fish. And one of the things that is doing to the bass, there's no doubt whatsoever in it, it's causing the bass to live in non-traditional type of areas that they didn't live in before. And what happens with this is, if you think about it, think about how much noise is on the water now compared to like 30 or 40 years ago. If you guys go to a large lake, like a fairly popular lake, like here in Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks or Table Rock, or if you're on Lake Lanier, Georgia, or any large lake that's pretty popular, a lot of times in the year, if it's a fairly decent day, you're going to have pontoon boats, those wake boats, jet skis, a bunch of bass boats running around the lake, a lot of activities. And if you've ever stuck your head under the water and heard how loud like an outboard motor is, or even a trolling motor, you can imagine what it sounds like to a bass being underwater. All the noise increased decibel levels, and it has an impact on the fish. And on top of that, bass anglers have gotten so good at catching fish over the past 5 years, much of it because of the advent of YouTube videos. Everybody knows where the good fishing places are. Everybody knows about points and channel swings and irregular features and drop-offs and ledges and all that type of stuff. So what it's done, the bass have learned to adapt, and they get off of these prime piece of structures. Not that they still don't use them some, they still do. They don't use them in the capacity that they used to before. And these fish are starting to move into areas that do not have the fishing pressure. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video, how to find those areas. Now, the first thing they do is they move offshore and suspend. And you guys know if you know me, you know my stance on forward-facing sonar and electronic technology. I don't want to even get into that, because that's one of the first places they do. They adapt, they move out off the bank, they roam out there in open water, they chase shad schools. They don't relate to anything. They just swim out there in open water, and that's what the forward-facing sonar guys are targeting. But what I want to talk about is just traditional bass fishing. And if you don't use that type of technology and you want to find the areas the fish have moved into due to the fishing pressure. Okay, the first thing that you have to do is when you're going down the lake, or even if it's not a lake, even if it's a farm pond or something like that gets pressure, look at the lake as you're going down the lake in your boat or whatever, and identify what you think are the good places. It's like, man, that point looks really good over there, or that row of boat docks looks really good over there, or man, look at that bluff bank, how it transitions into a 45-degree angle. There's a great rock transition area. I bet that's a good place for fish. When you see those very obvious places, try to ignore them, because if you think they're good, so does everybody else. What you have to look at is you have to look at the areas that are not appealing. That's not attracting attention to the fish. Say, for example, let's say for example you're going down this nice looking bank. It's like a nice rocky bank, a rock transition area. Looks really good. Maybe there's some lay down trees on it. Looks perfect for a bass. And then down at the end of the bank, if you look way up in front of you, all of a sudden it turns flat. Maybe it goes to flatter gravel. There's no cover on the bank, and there's nothing there that looks good. that is the type of places where a lot of these fish will navigate to and migrate to, simply because the fishing pressure is not there. Let me give you guys a prime example. I fish a lake called Stockton Lake up here in Missouri a lot. Stockton is one of those lakes that used to never get any fishing pressure, and now it's covered up with fishing pressure, absolutely covered up. And I fished this lake since the 1970s, and I've seen this transition about how bass have moved off the really good looking stuff onto the crappy looking stuff. I've got this one bank down there that for 30 years, it's like I could go there anytime in January, February, or December and catch good fish on a jerkbait. It's a nice rocky looking bank. It drops off nice. There's deep water close next to it. And it's just perfect. There's big chunk rock on it, it's mixed big rock. It's just it's a bass haven, a bass habitat. And I noticed about the past 4 or 5 years, I haven't been able to catch hardly anything off of it. And I just don't understand it because it's such a good spot. And last year when I was down there, a couple of the trips, at the end of this area, it turns into like a flat, nothing looking bank. It's like it's gravelly looking and it's shallow, and you look at it and there's nothing appealing there. So a couple trips last year, after I went down the good looking stretch there, I said, I'm just gonna keep fishing down this terrible looking stretch. And I went out there on that nothing looking stretch that was shallower, no cover at all. And I caught like 4 or 5 good fish on it, on the jerk bait. And I'm like, why in the heck are these fish right here? There's nothing for them. It's like, it's gravelly, it's flat, there's not much deep water next to it. It's not anything like 100 yards behind me. That's like the prime area. And I realized that those fish have moved to that particular area to escape the fishing pressure. Because you think about it, it's like there's about a 50-yard section on this bank I'm talking about that looks perfect. And there's always a boat on it. And so this boat, you got these trolling motor pings, you got the trolling motors whizzing like that on this 50-yard section of bank. And these fish simply got fed up with it, and they just moved down the bank to where everybody would turn around when they got to that nothing looking area, and they wouldn't fish it, and they moved down to that nothing looking area to escape the fishing pressure. This is what you have to look for in today's era of bass fishing. So pay close attention to that, guys. If you see an area that looks no good whatsoever, but it's fairly close to a good looking area, always fish that area. I don't mean go to a part of the lake that looks terrible and there's nothing even around it that looks good. I'm talking about if you got an area that's got some good cover, close to a nothing looking area, always fish those nothing looking areas. They are holding more and more fish every year. So anyway, guys, try it. I think it'll help you guys out. We'll talk later.